Today on Franchise Inspectors, do hair salons make a lot of money? What about the big name hair salon franchises and why do they sell for so cheap? Right now, if you take a look online, there are dozens of salons for sale as low as $10,000. Look at these listings we have here: $25,000, $29,000, $39,000. And all of these listings are just in the state of California. Right now, across the USA, there are hundreds of salons for sale, many of them selling for under $50,000. Why is that? Now, we get a lot of calls from new, inexperienced buyers who are looking at these low investment hair salons and asking if they are a good opportunity. Now, the question our brokers always ask first is, do you think someone is selling their very profitable business for $10,000 or even for $40,000? Now, the answer, of course, is no, they're not. The next question is, do you have a plan to turn the business around? Are you an expert at business turnarounds? And in most cases, these individuals do not. Now, why these are on there for so cheap? Most of these sellers are stuck in a long-term lease. They're going to get a huge penalty if they break that. They are losing money every single month, and they just want to have an escape plan, and you, the prospective buyer, inexperienced with big dreams, are that escape plan. So here's a little tip to save yourself hours and hours looking at these bargain basement salons for sale all over the internet. Now, hair salons will generally sell for a revenue multiple of their earnings. So these multiples are different for every single industry, but typically a hair salon is going to fall in the 2 to 3 times multiple range. So if a company is generating $200,000 a year in EBITDA, and that stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, and you use a 2 times multiple, that salon is going to list for $400,000. There are many other ways to evaluate a business, but the easy rule to remember is just that people don't sell profitable businesses for peanuts. Now, if you do have the budget, there are certainly salons out there that do make money. This salon here is asking $825,000 with an EBITDA of $285,000. Now, this one you see is a higher multiple if you look at the listing because they've invested more than $500,000 in leasehold improvements. It also is a fairly bigger salon with 20 stations altogether. Now, that's another consideration when you look at a salon. They're completely different, obviously, but you have to ask how many stations multiplied by how many cuts per day minus paying your stylists, your rent, your insurance, and everything else. If you only have 5 stations, can you really make enough money to make a living? Here's another example we see right down in Beverly Hills, luxury salon asking $200,000 with an EBITDA of $100,000. Now, many salons that you see are in this range, which for some people, they consider that the risk of starting a business and making the same amount of money, $100,000 as working a job, for them, it doesn't make much sense. But that's not a decision that we can make. That's one for you. So before we go over and take a look at some of the big name franchises, do hair salons make as much money as other types of businesses? Now, as a general rule, no, there's always exceptions, of course, but there are reasons people buy salons. And one of the most compelling reasons is lifestyle. Because the salon business model is fairly simple to run, it's easier to run as a semi-absentee owner. So many buyers in these cases, they actually keep their job. They'll open a salon and then another salon. They'll gradually scale up until their salon income is replacing their job, and then they may leave their job. And this is a way to ease into business or franchise ownership rather than jumping right in and quitting your job, which can be a little scary. But what about the big name hair salon franchise brands that you see everywhere? Your Great Clips, your Sports Clips, those big names. How much do those cost and make? Now, I'm going to use a specific example of one of the biggest salons in the country. They've got over 4,000 locations. But because we're mentioning financials, we have to keep the name anonymous. So please, nobody asking in the comments, what's the name of that franchise? If you need to know it, give us a call. Now, a new salon is going to cost between $187,000 to $419,000, and most salons in the franchise industry are somewhere in this range. And as you can see, the average revenue across the system is just a little over $400,000, and they note that an average cash flow is about $82,000. Now, this is the average. So remember, many salons earn even less money than that. And these examples are established salons, meaning they've been in business for a while. So when you first open, and if you open particularly in an area that doesn't have other salons, the co-op ad budget is much less, so you're going to have fewer customers. So keep these things in mind. Also remember that cash flow, as they note here, this is a big mistake a lot of buyers make, is not profit. And it's distressing to see people about to outlay tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars and not know that. Cash flow, profit, two different things. Anyway, as you can see, a single salon is not necessarily a huge moneymaker, which is why most owners eventually operate several locations. If you run 6 of these, you're making a decent living. Now, most hair salon franchises, they have earnings in approximately the same range with some outliers here and there. And of course, you're limited by how many seats you have and how many people can give cuts. So it's not within one single location a very scalable business other than opening other salons. Other considerations if you're looking at this space are staffing. How easy is it going to be in your local area to find salon employees? And some states are much more difficult than others. Competition. How much is out there? Not only from other competition, but from your own franchise. How close are they? How much is the competition charging, and how is that going to affect you? Is there a demographic alignment? Are you opening a Beverly Hills upscale salon in a downscale area? All of these things must come into account. There's a lot of other considerations. If you ever need help finding the best franchise, give the experts at Franchise Inspector Brokers a call. I'll put that link above. So is a hair salon a good investment? It can be, but a lot depends on your business goals, your local market, and other factors. Franchise education playlist, I will post that down below. Hundreds of videos in there you might find helpful. And how much do the big name franchises make? I'll put the link on this side. Thanks for watching.